Hello everyone and welcome to this series of tutorial for audio development in Unreal Engine. Before we dive in and look at some game development on Unreal, I want to just go over a little bit of the details about Unreal Engine, and hopefully by that it will make it easier for you guys to follow along and understand what it is we're doing and get a little bit more context of the engine. So Unreal Engine is known in the industry as one of the engines that is used for high-end productions. Things like The Mandalorian show, for example, all of the background was created in Unreal Engine. There are a lot of video games that were developed with Unreal. Of course, you can do anything with it, but it's just known as an engine for high-end, really like AAA beautiful productions. Unreal Engine runs on C++, which is a coding language that is usually a little bit more complex than C#, which is why over time Unreal developed a method of node-based system that is called Blueprint. This is the good part about Unreal. If you don't want to look at code, you don't ever have to look at code. You can just use this node-based system that is a little bit prettier than looking at code, but it could be a lot messier than code. When you're writing code, you can always look up something based on a word or based on a sentence, or maybe like if you look at like the lines of code, it might give you a hint of where the problem is. Where if you're using a node-based system, it might be all over the place because you're just going to see a lot of boxes, and between those boxes, just a lot of strings that are connecting them. For those who want to write code, you can always use Unreal with C++, but for those who never ever want to look at it, that's totally fine. Now, because of that node-based system, there are a lot less documentation compared to Unity, because if you go to something like Stack Overflow, you're going to see a lot of different code that people wrote, and you can just copy it and paste it into your game. Where with Unreal, with those node-based systems that are called blueprints, usually creators would have to put like a screenshot and take you through that screenshot, and sometimes they could get really complex. So I'm guessing that because of that, it's less common to use Unreal compared to Unity. Also, Unity is known as an engine for prototyping and for, I don't know, more like simpler games. But again, at this point today, any engine can do anything. So if you want high-end production in Unity and you want just a phone game on Unreal, everything is possible. I'm just telling you how the industry is looking at things. I hope that that makes sense. Now, let's look at the first thing you're going to be downloading when you want to get into Unreal. So the first thing that you're going to get is the Epic Launcher, and it looks something like that. It might look a little bit differently on your side, but overall, this is the Epic Launcher. This is the place where you get all of their games that they're selling, plus the games that are coming from their studio specifically, and that would be things like Fortnite and Rocket League. If I scroll down, I honestly highly recommend for anyone, even if you're not going to get into Unreal Engine, I really recommend just downloading the Epic Launcher. If anything, just because they have so many different deals on video games constantly, and each week, I believe, each week they have a free game that you can just download. So if you really want to get into game development or just in video games in general, and you don't have the budget for it, you can always just go here and download a bunch of free games and just try a lot of them. So if you look at my library that is going to be here, you're going to see a lot of different games. That's because over the years, I just collected so many free games that they were giving. I think I paid for only 4 or 5 of them, and the rest of them were either on sale and cost me a few dollars or completely free. Now, beyond the store and the library, you're going to see this, which just says Unreal Engine. So if you click on that, it's going to take you to a whole different place in their launcher. And this is specifically for the engine. This is for building video games. Now, as you can tell, I have a lot of different versions installed of Unreal Engine. On your side, this would probably be empty. Actually, all of them are probably going to be empty. You can tell that I have few versions of Unreal 4 and a few versions of Unreal 5. This one is actually not installed, so I can remove it. Now, if I want to add another one, all I need to do is press that plus button, and I'm going to add the latest version that is available. At this moment, it's 5.4. It might be a different one if you're watching this video in the future. And all you need to do is press install, and it's going to get you the engine installed. Bear in mind that those engines are pretty massive. So this one is going to be about 215 gigabytes of data. Just something to keep in mind. Now, why do you need so many versions? Because sometimes some experiences or video games are supported by one specific version, or they need some features from that version and not anything before that, or not anything after that. So there are some projects that are only going to run on Unreal Engine 4. There's some that are only going to be running on 5. There are some that are only going to be running on a very specific version of 4 or 5. It really depends on the project. So as you can see, all of my projects here, all of them have different versions, and that's why I have so many of them installed on my system. The other thing that you're going to see here is the Vault. The Vault is kind of like their store of assets. It's like equivalent to the asset store in Unity. And again, the reason why I have so many of them is because Unreal tend to just give a lot of assets for free. So if I look at the marketplace, and this is different than the library. The library is going to be here. The marketplace for Unreal Engine is going to be under Unreal Engine and right here in the marketplace. Each month, they're giving 5 different assets completely for free, and it could be literally anything. It could be an environment, it could be a mechanic, it could be an animation. And over time, you can really create a huge vault full of lots of different experiences, lots of different environments, and all of that you can always use to practice and to become a better creator. Here's my tip for you. If you go to the marketplace and you go to the free tab, you can look at UE Online Learning. The learning are little lessons that Unreal Studios created for you so you can learn the engine faster. And what I tend to do is just download those little experiences and then go through the tutorial. And once I'm done with the tutorial and I kind of understand what it is we're building, then I'm going to take that and put sound on it. So now I have a little experience that I kind of understand, and I use that to learn, and plus I use that to create some cool sounds. I'm going to be using one of them to show you a lot of examples, but honestly, I recommend for you to download as many as you can so you can go through them. And this is a great way to get just free knowledge. Here's one for a music system, for example, and here's one for audio-driven gameplay. I actually haven't tried them, but this might be a good opportunity to try them. The one that we're going to be looking at is called Hour of Code. So if I look for Hour of Code, there it is. So you can see that I already own it. If I click on it, I can see the little experience. And if I want to go through the tutorials and understand a little bit better how to build this, I have the lesson plan here. There are 5 lessons. I highly recommend to go through all of them. That's going to give you a really good foundation for Unreal Engine. So that's it for today. I'm going to see you tomorrow with a brand new tutorial, and we're going to go over the layout of Unreal Engine. Till then, see you tomorrow.